Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the delayed start. Just making sure that all the players were ready and everything was all sorted as we are getting into our second matchup of the night. We just casted Mystery Gaming versus CSO Blazer Titans, and Mystery Gaming had a dominant performance, but again, they are one of the stronger teams in the qualifiers, so we'll see if they can be stopped here. We'll see if the Platinum Vultures can keep up with them. Here we go as we are getting into game number 1, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Royal Blood we have the red Protoss player representing Mystery Gaming. It is Strange. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner we have his opponent. We have the Spanish Terran player representing the Platinum Vultures. It is AqueroN. Here we go. So, for those curious, the Platinum Heroes, they have a very large roster, and this season they have decided to split up their roster. They have their main team, of course, which consists of mainly Protoss players, but it's Shadown, DNS, I believe Firefly is a part of that, and Goblin as well, so they consist of the main roster. Meanwhile, they have a B team, or they have a second roster here, the Platinum Vultures, with some pretty big names as well. They have AqueroN, they have Vindicta, they even have Art as well, and so many others. So we do have a second team that's going to be trying to meet up with the first as well, make their way through the qualifiers. But again, unfortunate for any team to face off against Mystery Gaming, because they have some pretty big teams, some pretty big names, some pretty big players. We'll see if the Platinum Vultures can overcome that, can somehow, I would say, cause an upset. As Mystery Gaming, they have players like Bunny and RagnaroK. They have some Koreans. Alright, so we'll see how this goes. For the time being, a Rax Expand, a very economic opener out of AqueroN, is forced to throw down the CC off location, so a little bit off center. But it's okay, we can lift this up, we can land it, we can, you know, sort this out. Won't be too much of an issue, just an inconvenience more than anything, as Strange does confirm the economic opener of his opponent. Meanwhile, back at home, we do see AqueroN doing the same, checking and seeing the natural base being taken. So AqueroN is aware that there's no proxy, there's no weird one-base play happening from Strange. So both players are aware of each other. First Reaper is going to be moving out across the map, looking to dip into that main base and try to get a read on the initial tech of Strange. Meanwhile, Strange, a very safe play. We have a shield battery in the main base. Adept is moving out. Reaper does bypass the Adept, and one probe goes down. Already a good pick off by AqueroN. Meanwhile, Strange is moving out across the map. Again, with the completion of the shield battery, you don't need an Adept back at home, because the shield battery will be able to out-heal the DPS of a Reaper, and the Adept is looking to delay the CC if possible. It's going to be close. The Adept is on the way, but I think the CC should finish in time. Up! It's going to be close. We get one shot off. The SCV is forced into the bunker, and we will barely delay that CC by, oh my god, it was so close. It was so close to finishing, but the Adept gets here just in time. Up! As AqueroN tries to complete it, and it looks like he, oh my god, looks like he will finish that CC just barely. Again, it was delayed by a couple of seconds, but not the biggest delay, thankfully. Back at home, Strange doing something borderline strange, not crazy, but out of the norm definitely, as we do see Strange going not for a Twilight Council, not for a Stargate, but for a Robo opener. Now, this looks like really safe play, to me at least. It depends. If we throw down additional gateways, we can prioritize a Warp Prism, but I expect to see an Immortal, and yeah, we're rushing into a Robotics Bay, so basically, we're cutting corners. Strange is giving up map control as he scouts across the map. So, what I mean by that is that if we go for a Twilight Council opener, we get Blink Stalkers. If we go for a Stargate opener, we get Phoenixes. And the role of the Blink Stalker and the Phoenix is to maintain control of the map, is to shut down drops, is to deny scouting, deny vision, and contain the Terran player. Because we go for a Robo, we're giving up on all of that. We're allowing the Terran to do whatever they want while we work on a more robust army, while we cut corners and we rush into Colossus. And as we rush into Colossus, we're going to be able to have a much stronger mid-game, as we are able to get into that splash damage far faster than normal. So an interesting choice here by Strange. Meanwhile, across the map, AqueroN is going for a 3-1-1 setup. Stim is on the way. course, factory and starport. Looking at the vision, AqueroN wasn't able to see what was going on, so he's still in the dark. He doesn't really know what he's going up against, whether it's Blink Stalkers or Phoenixes or, of course, Fast Colossus. He's gonna try to go into the main base. He may just commit. Yeah, he just sends it in. Even if the Reaper dies, he needs to figure out what's going on. He does see the Robo, and if he gets behind the mineral line, he will see the Robotics Bay as well. So now he knows it was a Robo opener into a Fast Colossus. So AqueroN is fully aware of what's going on. There is a window where he could try to punish Strange. Again, Strange has a very small army, but the window is closed. We now have a Colossus, and we're about to have a second Colossus as well. Like, the army is going to get larger and larger from this point, and much more devastating. AqueroN, upon seeing the Fast Colossus, straight into Vikings. Viking production is commencing very quickly here for AqueroN, so again, he's making use of his scouting, and he is reacting accordingly. Something that's interesting is that he will not have a Raven available. There was no tech lab on the starport, so no disables for said Colossi. Again, he's just focusing on Viking production instead. Stim is done. Combat Shields is about to kick in, and I'm curious to see what AqueroN goes for from this point. If he goes for a third CC, or if he's gonna pull the boys. I'm curious here, as he has +1 attack on the way, only 1 eBay. And we don't have much else going on here. What's interesting is that we don't have any factory production either. No Widow Mines, no tanks, just pure Bio Viking. Meanwhile, across the map, Strange, he's getting his third base up and running. We already have the first Colossus, we have a second, and we're about to have a third Colossus as well. And now we're getting into our Gateway Explosion. Now we're getting into the Twilight Council and the Forge and all the other upgrades. Strange, he has gotten away with this. And, I'm concerned about this bio timing from AqueroN. This is looking like a 2-base all-in for me, especially because we still don't have a third. I guess we could get a third on location at this point. It's still not too late, but regardless, we're gonna have so much splash damage available. I guess it's gonna depend on how much how much Strange has to deal with how much anti-air Strange has to deal with the Vikings. There it is. Third base is on the way. Is just now thrown down. AqueroN dealt with the Observer, and now he's going to be moving out. And that's a lot of Vikings. That's 7 Vikings, my god. And he doesn't have to worry about Blink Stalkers. And in general, there's only 1 Stalker. Sorry, there's a handful of Stalkers, actually. There's 4 Stalkers, but no Blink. So AqueroN, he can take a fight. Can definitely take a fight. The Vikings, they need to be respected. Here we go, the Vikings, they push on forward already, doing a lot of damage to the first Colossus, and the first Colossus is going to go down. The Vikings looking dominant in the air. Meanwhile, the Bio Army just avoid the main brunt of the Colossus, and the second one, oh my god, almost falls as well. Again, the Vikings, they reign supreme, they take down the second Colossus, they take down the final Colossus, and that's it. That is the backbone of Strange's army, that is all he had. We land the Vikings, and AqueroN is snowballing out of control. There was no answer to the Vikings. GG gets called, and AqueroN takes game number 1. In a very convincing fashion. Again, great scout from AqueroN. He recognized exactly what Strange was doing, went straight into Viking production, went for a big timing attack with Stim, Combat Shields, Concussive Shell, and I think that was 7 Vikings in total. And we saw how little anti-air Strange had. He could not support his Colossus. He could not keep them safe. He could not keep them alive. And just like that, the Platinum Vultures, they start off with a 1-0 lead. Oh, let's go. Very strong start here from AqueroN. When it comes to the overall lineups, it's a best of 2 between AqueroN and Strange. We then have a best of 2 between Bunny and Vindicta, and then a best of 2 between RagnaroK and Art. Oh boy. So the Koreans are on the horizon. Okay, we're good. Sorry, I was just panicking a little bit, but we do have another caster that's going to be joining us. Shout out to Revo. Not too familiar with them. I'm not too sure if they cast in English or another language, but regardless, do have another caster joining this series. Jumping into game número 2. And here we go. We are getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gress Farm. We have the red Protoss player representing Mystery Gaming down in this series, but not out, looking to fight back with his map of choice. It is Strange. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Spanish Terran player representing the Platinum Vultures. It is AqueroN. And having a solid start here against Strange. A solid game 1. Strange cutting some corners, taking a risk by going for that, by rushing into those Colossus the way that he did. And unfortunately, wasn't able to scout and react to what AqueroN was doing, right? Like we saw the Viking count building up for our Terran player. Strange clearly did not, and didn't have a good answer to that. Wasn't prepared for the Mass Viking to bully back his star units. The entire point of his build was to rely on those Colossi early on, and again, they were kind of rendered inert there by the Mass Viking. So yeah, we do need to see Strange getting a better read on what his opponent is up to, respecting the Terran. As this time we have a very different opener. AqueroN, he's going to be walling off here on the ramp. He's going to be denying scouting, and he's going for a double gas opener. Now, just because he walls off, that doesn't mean it has to be double gas. It could still be a Rax expand with a CC on the high ground. That is still possible, so Strange is in the dark. He can try to deduce that it's a double gas opener, but he doesn't have confirmation. Doesn't know for sure. So with 2 gases, that does mean that we get a faster factory. This could even go into a 1 base all-in. We could go for a starport behind this as well, but we pulled out a gas, so this should be for a factory expand. Meanwhile, across the map, AqueroN, he throws down a bunker next to the pylon, and Strange is aware of it. He is not getting a Zealot first. He's going for the Adept, which means this bunker is going to get quite a lot of progression, but it looks like it should not finish. It's going to be close. The Reaper arrives, and with the arrival of this Reaper, the probes are going to be forced back, but the Adept gets here just in time. Bunker is not going to finish. Bunker does get shut down, and Reaper gets into the main base, is going to get 1 probe, and does scout the tech, does get eyes on the Stargate. Very important scout by AqueroN. Reaper is going to get shut down, but the Reaper did its job. It got 1 probe kill, and of course it did see the Stargate. So now he knows he has to get ready back at home. We should be seeing a prioritization of a Cyclone. There it is, Tech Lab on the way. Viking as well, Marines. Of course, AqueroN is still not aware if this is going to be Phoenix's or Oracles, but either or, should be getting ready. As the second Reaper goes down for an Adept. And there it is, Strange is going for those Phoenixes. And as you can imagine, this is why this is such a safe way to open up. What did we lack last game to protect those Colossus? Anti-air. What do Phoenixes do? They shoot up. So that's why Phoenix Colossus, they pair well with each other, and it looks like that's what Strange is going for. Phoenix is first, then eventually into a Robo, into a Bay, into Colossus production. So this is just a safer way to get to that composition, a safer way to get into Colossi. As the first Phoenix does move out across the map. Gonna get eyes on things. The Cyclone is out, but out of position. He's gonna get a lock on and do a bit of hull damage as well. Regardless, Strange does confirm the 1-1-1, sees the add-ons as well. And is aware of that Cyclone. I was going to say that it was a really bold move to skip the Viking. So instead of going for a Viking first, AqueroN went for a Medevac first, for a very aggressive opener, going for that Cyclone drop. He wants a Phoenix. Oh, he does get another lock on that weakened Phoenix, and he will not get it. Does get within range of the shield battery. Thankfully for Strange, shield battery was ready in the natural. He was prepared. Back in the main base, we have a secondary pylon just in case things get depowered. Second Cyclone does arrive. And AqueroN is looking to bust into this natural, or at least force an overcharge. Meanwhile, Strange is playing this out very safely. What I mean by that is that with this Robo, instead of going straight for the Robotic Spay, he's going for a safety Immortal first, just to make sure he has an army to work with. There it is. Bay is now on the way. The Immortal arrives just in time to help defend. As the Phoenixes are out on the map catching reinforcements, they do find a Cyclone. Very good pick off. Cyclone goes down. AqueroN has to turn back. He has to respect this. And oh, he will not catch the Phoenixes. It's Strange. He's paying attention. Does pull back in time. He's regaining control of his two bases, and now he can expand and take a third. That was the other thing that AqueroN was doing. He wasn't just threatening the natural. He wasn't just looking for a Phoenix. He was also containing Strange to two bases, but now he is free to expand. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have a 3-1-1 setup. 3 Raxes, 1 Factory, 1 Starport. Pretty standard setup here, all things considered. And AqueroN is going into tank production, and he is prioritizing Vikings. Once again, no Raven. This is very European meta. The Koreans, they take risks, and even against Phoenixes, they go for Ravens first. There's a lot of power behind a Raven, as you can imagine, especially with disables. But AqueroN, he's going for a much more safer option, going for Vikings. And these Vikings are multi-purpose. Obviously, we saw them shine in the last game. We saw them dominate and take down the Colossus and win the game for AqueroN. This game is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be vying for map control, vying for air dominance and air superiority. And if AqueroN is able to outposition his opponent, then maybe he can kill the Colossus. But, of course, he still has to contend with the Phoenixes. So it's not going to be as clear-cut. AqueroN this time going for a much faster third base. Already halfway done. Much faster third compared to the last game, is what I meant to say. So clearly he's not going to be hitting as crisp of a timing. Stim, still halfway done. Again, it was delayed due to all the Cyclone production we were going for. And the drop that we went for as well. And the game is going to be settling down, and Strange, I'm sure, is feeling a lot more comfortable. Like, now he has map control, now he's getting into multiple Colossi. He's got 1, he's about to have 2. He's got a shield battery, overcharge, sentries for force fields, safety immortal. Like, he's looking pretty solid for the time being. But here we go, AqueroN is moving out. As he does move out, he's going to be expanding and taking that third. The Phoenixes, the hallucination did spot the Vikings at least. And there we go. We have additional shield batteries on the way and cannons as well. AqueroN, he's going to be bypassing this ramp entirely. He's finding another way in. He's going to wedge himself between the natural and the third base. Strange is out of position. We do see a scan. Tanks are going to be sieging on up. One Phoenix already goes down. Solid volley from those Vikings. I appreciate the hallucination. Gonna try to tank a shot. But the tanks are edging ever closer. The Marines, they head towards that third base. And here we go. The Colossus, they push on forward. The Phoenixes, they pick up the tanks. And it looks like Strange, he should be able to clean this up. The tanks, they do nothing. The Marines get annihilated by the Colossi. And Strange completely shuts down that army. Does lose all of his Phoenixes in the process, but again, that was worth it. Now AqueroN, he plummets in the army supply. Strange, he could keep pushing, to be honest. Like, there is nothing here. There's 1 tank on the high ground and a handful of Vikings. Strange, though, he's going to take this slow and steady. He's going to take a 4th base, back off. I don't blame him. He only has 1 Colossus, so he's not feeling too confident. But he totally could have broken this 3rd base location. There is a window here. But alas, the window will eventually close, and AqueroN is going to be able to restabilize himself here at his 3rd. But Strange is getting further ahead. He's getting his 4th, he's getting his upgrades, Double Forge, Temple Archive, Storm, Archons, refining his army. You could argue that Strange, because he's being so defensive and so passive and so scared, it means that AqueroN, he has a chance to come back in this. Like, even though he was on the brink of death, if Strange kept pushing, AqueroN, he can bounce back. Especially with drop play, with multi-prong harassment. If Strange isn't able to split up his army, if he isn't able to spread himself between his bases, then there is obviously a chance here for AqueroN to abuse him with a more mobile army. Here we go, the medevacs have hit the field, and the drop play is upon us. So AqueroN, he is not, of course, giving up. He does have ways back into this to bring it all back. The disparity in supplies is getting a little bit bigger. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Strange, but here we go, the double drop is moving out. And no reaction so far from Strange. It's going to be spotted by that probe. And Strange is going to be rotating his army over. Is making sure he's leaving some units in position at his third base. Meanwhile, AqueroN is going to be taking his fourth. Behind this, AqueroN is throwing down additional Raxes. He's going for a Ghost Academy. Again, it does make plenty of sense. He's just taking up even further and slowly working towards his fourth. Meanwhile, Strange now already at 3 Colossus. Interesting. He's actually making a 4th Colossus, which is a little bit unusual. We should be seeing a second Robo and Disruptor production. We should be diversifying the splash damage, but Strange, he's committing to mass Colossus. Okay. Fair enough. And here we go, Strange has maxed out. We do see him pushing forward here towards the third base and towards the natural as well. The Zell's doing a great job of just tanking so many of those shots. The tanks are looking very exposed as they're going down one after the other. The Zell say get into the mineral line. Meanwhile, the main army is pushed back into the natural. The Vikings do arrive, and they're going to be bullying these Colossus back. Oh, but there are Stalkers, there are Archons. There is enough to force back the Vikings, and Strange is going to be able to bust on through into the natural. GG gets called. And we have a series. Strange takes game number 2. We are tied up. GG. Oh, let's go, puppy. Let's go. So, have Mystery Gaming met their match? Potentially. Potentially, as we are going to be hopping on over to the American server here. So far, we are tied up 1-1, and we have 2 fresh players about to face off in a TVT. We have Bunny, the Korean Bunny, of course, not the Danish one, who retired long ago, versus Vindicta. Miguelito, the Shaft himself, the Shaft of Voltron, is coming out. Oh, let's go. Let us go. Just gonna message the players. But yeah, honestly, I'm really excited. Bunny, he's not as dominant as he once was. Again, Bunny, he's not a full-time player anymore, unlike, you know, Dark or Maru or Cure. Bunny, he plays part-time instead, so as a result, he's not as dominant as he once was. Meanwhile, Vindicta has some really solid TVT, and he has taken down players like Beyond in the past, so even though on paper you'd be like, oh, Bunny's a more notable player, you know, he's a GSL level Terran. True. But Vindicta is no slouch either, so this could go either way. Would not be surprised if we did enter a 1-1 scenario again, or maybe even 2-0 in favor of Miguelito. I'm just saying. It's possible. It's possible. Here we go. So yeah, Bunny and Vindicta are getting ready for their next matchup. Game 1 is going to be on Dragon Scales for this best of 2. I'm catching him. Hey, I have a question today. Later is also stream Team Gosu versus Cat versus CAT. I think they're also I think they're currently underway. I don't think we're gonna be able to cast them because Code Travelers versus Team Ghostwood was happening at the same time as this series, so we could only go for one. And I know, it's very tempting. Like, it looks so good. Like Joey, Maples, Miyamaika, Mini, Rilakuma, Reaper. Like, it looks like a really juicy series, but we did want to go for we did want to follow Mystery Gaming into the Platinum Vultures. So maybe we can cast the C players. Maybe we can cast Miyamaika and Joey, but we'll see. It kind of depends on how fast the series is and how slow their series is. Maybe we can catch the tail end, but no promises. No promises. As we are getting on in. As we are just getting things ready. Again, for those wondering, when it comes to the lineups, we do have Bunny versus Vindicta, and then after this, we'll be seeing RagnaroK versus Art, the Polish Protoss player, which I'm excited about. I haven't seen Art play in a while, in quite some time. I miss him. I miss him. My Art. Oh, and we're just being updated as well. Apparently they already finished. But here we go. We are getting into this, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the American Terran player representing the Platinum Vultures. It is Vindicta. I see the shaft of Voltron. Rise up. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Mystery Gaming. It is Bunny. Here we go. But I see more people filing in the chat, and Art is good. Yeah. Art, I mean, Art even spent some time in Korea, which was really cool to see. This was a couple of years ago at this point, but did spend some time in Korea. Was a player that I had my eyes on as an up-and-comer in Europe, but this year Art has taken a step back. He hasn't been competing full-time like he used to, which is why we haven't been able to cast Art in months at this point. So, which is why I appreciate seeing him again. I want to cast more Art. I mean, I miss him, Bobby. I miss him. But for now, we have our TBT. Before we get to, any other players like RagnaroK or Art, we have Bunny and Vindicta. And so far, we have mirrored openers, we have mirrored builds. I know Vindicta has been putting in a lot of work. He's been streaming a lot, practicing a lot, judging the new maps, judging the new balance patch as well. Of course, creating a lot of content over on his YouTube channel. And we will see how this does turn out. Again, so far double gas openers from both players. No one is taking a risk going for an economic opener. Likewise, no one is proxying. We do see the players being very active though with their units as the first Reapers do face off in the middle of the map. Vindicta does get a shot off. Does use that high ground to his advantage. SV comes in to help tank a shot as well. And Vindicta does have a bit of an edge here, does force back that Reaper, and even forces Bunny to throw down the CC on the high ground. Meanwhile, Vindicta, he gets away with the CC on the low ground instead. So a little bit more efficient from our red Terran player, a little bit more economic. As both players are going to be backing off. Again, Vindicta, he doesn't want to overstay his welcome. He's aware that, of course, defender's advantage, we're going to have additional Reapers and Hellions available for Bunny. So Mix is going to have to give up on that position for now and work on his transition as he only makes 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion. From here, he's going to be working on his add-ons and working on that next step. Bunny, of course, he invested a little bit further into this. He went up to 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. He has a larger force looking to bust through the natural base. We need that Widowmine in position. It's going to be crucial here for the defense of Vindicta. But it does burrow in time. And how good is the shot going to be? Up! Up! The retargeting! Let's go. Takes down a Reaper. A lot of splash damage as well on the army of Bunny. He was not expecting that mine. And Vindicta, mate, retargeting, getting the juiciest shot possible. Mate, he is, there's a reason why he's a shaft of Vulture, okay? So he's fast. He's quick. He's beautiful. Let's go. What I'm trying to say is that he is known for his speed. He's a very fast player. He has a lot of APM. He loves his drop play. And we'll see if he can showcase some more of that here against Bunny. As we do see Bunny following this up with a Cyclone drop here in the main. Back at home, Vindicta much more standard, is going for tank production, Ravens as well. This is really the bread and this is like the most standard, like safe opener that you can go for in TVT. As we do see Vindicta try to get a bit of a scout off. He does send a Hellion into the natural, a Reaper into the main. Doesn't get too much done, but does scout his opponents. And we have a pretty similar setup here, but to get there, Bunny did kind of invest a little bit more into aggression. He's got a medevac, he's got a Cyclone, is sending everything across the map to try to gain an advantage. And Vindicta doesn't quite have too much here. He has 1 tank in his main. Widowmine is out of position, looking for any kind of drop play. Speaking of, the drop is coming towards the main base. And the Marines are going to be going down. Vindicta, he just doesn't really have too much to speak of here in the main. He's going to be losing his depot. There we go. Cyclone is rallying on over. He does have a second tank. At the same time, we do have some auto-target harass in the natural base of Bunny. 3 workers do go down. Meanwhile, Bunny is forced out. Upon seeing these tanks, he doesn't want to tango with that. Oof. And Vindicta, he gets another SCV. With the conclusion of this harassment, Bunny, he got a depot, yes, but now he's down in workers. He's down in the economy. And Vindicta, he was the first player to get into tank production, to get into Ravens as well. Looking at the unit side, you can see that here. Vindicta, he is up a Raven, he's up a tank. He is slightly ahead in economy and army. Now, the reason why I say slightly is because these differences, they do impact the game, yes, but what trumps all of that is positioning, is positional play. Bunny, he can be down a tank, he can be down 2 tanks even, but he can still take a better fight. The inverse is true as well. Here we go, Bunny is moving out. Vindicta in position. The Ravens are ready. We'll see how the disables go. Bunny going to be reinforcing. Here come the disables. Both tanks of Vindicta do get hit. The unsiege just in time. Oh my god, is going to still lose one of his tanks, but saves the other. That could have been so much worse. Quick moves out of Migs. For those wondering, the disable means that you can't do anything. You can't even unsiege, so Vindicta would have lost both of his tanks, but he was barely able to unsiege in time before the disables hit. Now he's pushing forward. Oh, tanks get caught on siege for a moment. We do have the counter auto turrets and disables. Is it going to be enough? Vindicta, he lands his Vikings. It's gonna be a tough fight here, but it looks like Bunny may just have too much. Yeah, he takes down the Vikings. He has the tank counts. Migs was caught unsieged. It was a rough moment to take a fight. Boys are being pulled to repair, but this is becoming too much. Too much too quickly, and Bunny is snowballing a bit out of control. He's denying the third base. He's getting his own third on location, so Bunny does still have... Sorry, Vindicta has at least that advantage. Oh, but he's losing his Vikings. Migs going for a scan, trying to get a read on what's going on. But alas, Bunny is slowly pushing into the natural. He's denying the third base. The advantage that Migs had, that fast third, not really going to come into play. Bunny, he's not going to test his luck. He's going to back off from here. Again, he's content just containing his opponent, just containing Vindicta as he's getting his third base saturated. Boys are being main-arted over. Here we go, Bunny. He consolidates his army. He's pushing on forward. Gets another 2 disables. Boys, they have to be pulled. And Vindicta, even if he holds, he's going to lose so many SCVs. Ay, ay, ay. It looks like he will not hold. The Vikings do a great job here supporting the tanks. Vindicta getting one more tank towards the end here, but he loses 22 SCVs. And it's going to be an uphill battle for Migs. Pushes on forward, tries to collapse on top of the tanks, but the Vikings land once again. With those landed Vikings, the tanks are going to be able to hold on. Bunny scanning, making sure that no other base was taken. That Vindicta didn't take like a hidden 4th or something, or hidden 3rd, sorry. But yeah, Bunny, he's just getting further and further ahead. Now, what does Migs have going for him? Well, he's about to have a timing with 1-1. 1-1 just finished up. 1-1 still on the way for Bunny. So technically, Migs, his bio army is superior. It is stronger. He could maybe make something happen with that. Again, though, it is going to be difficult. It's a slim advantage. As here we go, he's going to be going for some drop play. Double drop making its way across the map in towards the main. There's that 3rd drop on the way as well. Is going to be spotted by this Liberator. So Migs, he's still pinned back. That advantage that he has is slowly just disappearing. As Bunny's now halfway through his upgrades. Migs does have a Marine lead as well. Meanwhile, Liberator does come into the natural. Oof. And is going to get some SCV kills. Is going to deny mining at the natural base. Scanner does get eyes on the 3rd. As Bunny comes back in to get even more worker kills. Meanwhile, Vindicta, he has gone by unscattered, I believe. He's going for a Hail Mary play. He's going to be heading towards the main base. Sorry, towards the natural, I should say. Oh, there is a spotter depot, though, and Bunny, he does see this coming ahead of time. He does react. He's pulling everything back to the natural. Tanks have arrived, Liberators as well, but Bunny, he gets on top of this. Shuts this down. GG gets called, and Bunny will take a lead for Mystery Gaming. GG. GG. That was, again, quite close between the two players. Bunny being hyper aggressive. It was unfortunate that Vindicta, he got caught unsieged in between his 3rd and his natural. He was moving there because he was looking to establish his 3rd base very quickly. Was being a little bit greedy in that aspect, in that respect. And Bunny was able to catch him. Was able to punish him. And take a lead from there. But now we're getting ready for game number 2. Again, it is going to be Vindicta's map of choice. Is his map of choice. Let me just double check as well. Oh. We are heading over to Korea. I was just double checking, and yeah, game 2 is going to be on Korea, so ooh, it's going to be a server advantage for Bunny. Uh-oh. Will have a bit of an advantage. But because Migs is West Coast, he doesn't have the worst ping to Korea, thankfully. Here we go. Just trying to make sure we don't... Trying to make sure we don't miss anyone. We don't lose anyone. Beautiful. As we are hopping over with the servers. Oh. So yeah, as a result, we Migs his control is micro, which was looking pretty damn good in game 1. It's gonna be a little bit stifled here in game number 2. He's gonna have to make up for that in another way. We have seen Migs play mech before. Oh no. Is that gonna happen again? I hope not. We'll see. We'll see, Papi. Catching up. I miss Asher's chat. Asher. I'll be casting with him tomorrow. I mean, I should confirm that with him, but we should be casting with Asher tomorrow. Tomorrow is gonna be some more WTL. Bear that in mind. The World Team League qualifiers are a 4-day event, if I'm not mistaken. 4 days of World Team League action. And here we go. We are getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient Cistern, we have the American Terran player representing the Platinum Vultures. It is Vindicta. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Mystery Gaming. It is Bunny. Spam this bat if you want to see Asher's cat. I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Real feel. If you're wondering, Asher's cat is called Rufus. It's called Rufus. He's a very majestic cat. Very majestic cat. It's very photogenic as well. I love Rufus. I love it. Real feel. Real feel. But Asher isn't available tonight, unfortunately. But he should be joining us tomorrow. We should be getting some Asher action. I hope. I'm looking at the other copy passes. Spam this honey to acknowledge the greatness of Bunny. Bunny is great. I love Bunny. I'm an ex-CJ fan from back in Pro League days. I would cheer very hard for it. I was a big fan of CJ Entis. Back then, of course, it was like RagnaroK, it was Hero, Bunny, Byung as well. Not to be confused with Byun. Hush, the PvP sniper. Who else was on CJ? Who comes to mind? There was another young player. God, I can't quite recall. I want to say there was a young Protoss. Not Hush, that was also on CJ. Can't quite recall. But, yeah, I've been cheering for Bunny for a long time. But, of course, I'm torn. You know, Miguelito, he's my boy. He's my hijito, papi. I have to cheer for him. To at least force a close series here. As we do see, once again, a double gas opener from both of our players. And both players will be taking their bases on location. This time, there are no SCVs kind of harassing or disturbing each other. Much more straight up game for the time being. Vindicta even keeping his Reapers back at home. So very safe play. Very safe play. Oh. I know that things got really intense and really chaotic earlier in game 1. But here things are a little bit more calm in nature. As Bunny is only going to be making 2 Reapers and a Hellion. Getting into his add-ons here. And should be working on a Cyclone. There it is. Cyclone is on the way. Meanwhile, Vindicta, he's going for a much safer opener instead. Going for a Widowmine. Just one Widowmine here to just cover the ramp. Just like he did in the previous game. So very similar opener from Vindicta. Bunny just mixing things up. Again, cutting Reaper and Hellion production much earlier. Going to a faster Cyclone. Which again is great for defense. And also can be used aggressively as we do have a medevac on the way. So it looks like Bunny wants to once again go for a Cyclone drop. Much faster this time, of course. Here we go. Bunny is being active on the map. I say Cyclone drop. We have a tank on the way, not a second Cyclone. Very fast tank here from Bunny. Looking to be very aggressive. Initially, things were calm, things were cool, things were collected. But here we go. He's waiting for that tank, waiting to load it up and just zoom across the map. Oh boy. Now, what does Vindicta have to defend? Does he realize what's going on? He hasn't been able to scout too much of anything. Cyclone gets a lock on. One Reaper goes down. Oh. I wonder, did he see that Widow Mine? Looks like he has. He's going to bait it out with a Marine and clean off that Widow Mine. Uh-oh. As Bunny is pushing on forward. Here we go. The drop has arrived. Tank is here as well. And Vindicta a little bit unaware, is unprepared for this. The tank does come out. Boys have to be pulled. Auto turret is thrown down, and Vindicta, he should be able to hold on here. Does take down the tank. Very nicely done. And without losing some workers, we do not have WCS game hearts. It looks like Vindicta, he lost one SCV. Oh my god. What? That's crazy. One SCV went down in the defense. A solid hold here from Vindicta. He gets the tank as well, so a much more efficient trade. Getting the tank and the Cyclone. Also, just the tank. So a very nice defense here from Vindicta. And oh, he's going for a 2-base all-in. We have a second starport. So this is a 2-port, 2-base all-in here. The special, the Juanito special, if you will. Juanito is very fond of this. Does this very often in his TVTs. With this, Vindicta, he's going to be gaining map control. Oh my god, did Bunny scout this? How does he... How? That's crazy. Bunny is going for his own second starport. Okay, so 2-base versus 2-base. This is gonna get wild. Okay, so both players are gonna be rushing out Vikings. Bunny, because he doesn't know what's going on, he's making a Liberator first, so he's actually gonna be down in Viking production. We'll have less Vikings. Does go for a scan. Just because Bunny, he's going into the Liberator a little bit prematurely. That's the goal here of this 2-base all-in, is you get an abundance of Vikings, you get map control, and then with 1 or 2 Liberators, you can just bully the tanks back. But again, Bunny is quick to pull the trigger. Looking at the unit type here, Vindicta, he's up to 5 Vikings already, and now Vindicta is going for that Liberator. So a little bit later, a little bit safer. Already a lot of damage to one of those Vikings. Meanwhile, the Liberator is going to harass? Oh, okay. I mean, true, because Vindicta does have the Viking lead, the Liberator, it won't be able to do too much with the main army, so he's going to be going to harass across the map instead. Meanwhile, here we go. Vindicta looking for a way in. A good tank position here for Bunny, but Vindicta, he doesn't go up the ramp, does go across instead. A long way around. He's going to rotate over. Tanks, oh, get a massive volley off on Vindicta as he does face check. As Vindicta pushes in, Vikings are facing off. Good anti-armor missile on the Vikings of Migs. At the same time, Liberator does siege up across the map. SCVs are going down. Oh, with the anti-armor missile, it looks like Bunny is coming out ahead in the air battle. He has the defender's advantage. He shuts down the Vikings of Vindicta. Meanwhile, across the map, this one Liberator got 7 worker kills. The economy has been crippled. No, the tanks, no! No! A bit of an A move. One tank goes down, and the other may go down as well. Yeah, we can see Bunny. He's going to boost on forward. Drop on top of the tank. He's trying to. Yeah, Vikings will be landing. He's going to be able to collapse on this army. Initially, it was looking good for Vindicta, but that fight just did not go his way at all. Bunny's double expanding. He's getting a 3rd on location and a 4th. That's how far ahead he... Oh my god, he's crazy. Ay, ay, ay. As he's going to be pushing on forward, getting on top of that tank. A lot of workers are going down. The tank falls. And it looks like Bunny just has too much. He has snowballed out of control. GG gets called, and Bunny will take down Vindicta 2-0. GG. GG, well played. A very solid performance there out of Bunny. Things were close initially, but when it came to the fights, again, we had defender's advantage. We had a really good anti-armor missile in the Vikings, and of course, Vindicta did end up taking some tank volleys to the face initially as well. So it was a rough start to that fight, and things snowballed very quickly out of control. And from here, Mystery Gaming, they have a 3-1 lead. Oh boy. It's a best of 7. They need 4. They need 4 wins here to secure the victory. It's all going to come down to the next best of 2 between RagnaroK and Art. Just going to be double checking. And we are going to be heading over to the land of the Americas. Just letting them know they are getting ready here for their next match. Platinum Vultures, they are up against the wall right now. RagnaroK, he just needs one more game. I'm just going to double check the servers here. Make sure everything is okay. All right. Alright, here we go. We are getting into our next best of 2. Game 1 is on altitude. Again, Mystery Gaming, they only need one more win here. The pressure is on the Platinum Vultures. The pressure is on Art. Oh boy. We'll see if he can bring something a little bit spicy to the table here. Of course, RagnaroK is a terrifying opponent, but I want to believe. I want to believe. As we are getting into this and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of altitude, we have the Polish Protoss player, the pink Polish Protoss player representing the Platinum Vultures. It is Art. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming. It is RagnaroK. Oh boy, RagnaroK, of course, has been competing for quite some time. Of course, even had an insane GSL run quite some time ago as well. And we'll see how he approaches this, as yeah, so far he is going to be going for a hatch first. Interesting. I'm pretty sure he didn't even go for a 15 hatch. He went for a hatch. Sorry, he went for a 14 hatch into a 15 pool. There we go. So very interesting opener. We've been talking about this a lot, but amongst the Korean scene, we have been seeing a rise in popularity of 14 hatcheries. There's 14 hatch and 15 hatch. They're both a little bit different. But this was a 14-15 from RagnaroK, so yeah, interesting. Interesting adaptation here from our Zerg player. Of course, both roads lead to Rome, and they both mean that you get your natural base up and running without being disturbed by the probe. We do love to see it. Meanwhile, back at home, Art just going for a standard opener himself, going for a gate expand into a cyber core, so very economic. Again, we used to cast Art on a weekly basis. He used to live in Korea back in the day. I think it was for his studies. He was living in Korea, and he would play in ESL Open Cup Asia. He would play in the ESL weeklies. He would play in Sparkling Tuna Cup as well. Nowadays, I haven't seen him in quite some time, so I'm really curious to see how he's adapted to the current meta and what he's fond of, especially on a large map like Altitude. Very large, a lot of bases to be taken, very wide open in the center of the map as well. And the tech of choice is going to be a Stargate. Makes sense. Very understandable opening here. Stargate opener, pretty standard, does give you map control. Should be seeing oracles. One of the big features of this map, outside of it being really large and of course for there are a lot of bases to be taken, because it's so wide open in the center, we have been seeing a lot of defensive play from Protoss players. You can wall off and defend on 3 and then 4 bases, and then you can either go for a big ground toss death ball army, or you can try to transition into sky toss as well. Both are viable options. Being hyper aggressive with, like, I don't know, say like an 8 gate 3 base all in can be really difficult on this map just because of how long the rush distance is. So I'm really curious to see what Art decides to go for, as we have a Void Ray first. Now, just because it's a Void Ray doesn't mean it's Sky Toss. From here, he can still go into Oracles, he can still get into a much more standard game, but the goal from this Void Ray is to just keep RagnaroK guessing, keep him in the dark, because it could be anything behind it. It could be a second Stargate, could be a Twilight Council into Glaive Adepts, it could be a Forge and Twilight Council into Blink, right? Like, it could be a multitude of things. And the Void Ray is going to hunt down this Overlord. Across the map, RagnaroK, he's just saturating his bases, working on Link speed, getting his spores. Losing that Overlord does supply block RagnaroK, so he's going to be stuck here on 45 supply for a little bit. Third base is being taken. We have an Oracle. This is looking like a standard follow-up, so nothing too crazy. And RagnaroK needs to recognize this. He's going to be moving out with his Lings, and should get eyes on the third, which will tell him most of what he needs to know. Now he knows he's not being 2 base all in. He may have caught a glimpse of the Oracle as well. Back at home, we have a Spore, we have 2 Queens in the main, 2 Queens at the natural. Third base is a little bit exposed, but there's nothing to really protect at the third anyway. And, oh, there it is. I was like, we still haven't seen the Twilight Council. There's a reason for that. It is going to be a Void Ray into Sky Toss. Now, this Oracle, after the Void Ray, does a good job at selling the story that it's not Sky Toss, that it's a standard follow-up. Because technically, it's inefficient to not go straight into additional Void Rays, right? So the Oracle is going to be distracting RagnaroK. Third base has been revealed. RagnaroK hasn't gone into the main yet. I say yet because it's going to take a while. Lair just now starts. Once the lair finishes, he can make an Overseer, and then he can go into the main. Until then, he's scouting with Lings. He's trying to get a read on what's going on. He checks the wall. What's important? We don't have +1 on the way. +1 is a dead giveaway. +1 air attack, I mean. And Art hasn't started it. He's going straight into carriers from here. Fleet Beacon into double carrier production on the way for Art. So far, unscouted. Behind this, we have a Forge for cannons. Now, I'm curious what kind of variation Art is going to go for. So we can just go straight Sky Toss from here, or we can go into like a tech switch into Ground Toss, which Classic and Hero have been doing recently. Meanwhile, RagnaroK, he sees. He just checked the ramp. He saw the researching Twilight Council. Sorry, the researching Cybercore. He should be able to recognize that it's going to be Sky Toss. Behind this, yep, there we go, Spire's on the way. So RagnaroK, he saw what he needed to see, confirming the upgrade, and we do have a Twilight Council behind this. So again, I'm really curious. For those wondering, Hero and Classic, they've been going for this variation where... Wait, what? Double Twilight Council? Okay. There's +1. Yeah, there's the gateway. So Hero and Classic, they've been going for this style where they go up to 4 carriers. You stop at 4 carriers, and then you go bam into Archons, into Blink Stalkers, and you go into Ground Toss. And the goal is to hope and try to trick the Zerg player to make them overcommit into Corruptors and make too many Corruptors, and then you just snowball out of control with your push. You have, more of a Zealots and ground army, and you kill your opponents. And there it is. We have Charge, we have Archons on the way. We are going to be transitioning here into Ground Toss instead. I love it. I love that he's going for it, but it's going to get scattered. Overseer comes into the main. Void Ray not in position to stop it, and he sees the tech transition. The Twilight Council both Twilight Councils even. The gateways, the lack of carrier production. That's the most important part. He sees that nothing else is being produced from these Stargates. So RagnaroK will not be bamboozled. He knows to only make a handful of Corruptors and to focus on a ground-based army. So he goes straight for Mutas. Oh my god, he's crazy. Going for Mutas instead. Bold move from RagnaroK. Very bold move. Here we go. The Ling Roach has arrived. Going to be denying the 4th base. Yeah, it is going to be cancelled. There's not enough here to stop this, to keep this alive. The carriers do reveal themselves. But RagnaroK does get what he wanted. He contains Art here to 3 bases. Meanwhile, I love this. Art goes back into carrier production. So he just got scouted. He just got scouted. So he knows that this, like, Charged Archon transition isn't going to work. It isn't going to kill RagnaroK. Not anymore. So now we're going back into carriers. Now we're hoping that RagnaroK doesn't make enough Corruptors. It's a delicate dance here. Okay, Ling Roach shows up once again to deny the 4th base, and we will be seeing another cancel. At the same time, Mutas, they dive into the main base. No cannons, no shield batteries, no nothing. 9 workers go down. The Mutas are getting out of control. And from here, RagnaroK is going to be able to also confirm that additional carriers are being made, and now he's committing a lot harder into his Corruptors. Here we go. The Corruptors have hit the field. We are up to 13. We're about to have 15 Corruptors. That is going to be good enough. We can see Archie's trying to hold on here at his 3rd base, but RagnaroK, he goes straight for the main, where some of these some of these carriers are exposed. Oh, can he get one? One carrier will go down. Caustic Spray on the Nexus as well. A little bit ambitious. Will not be able to get a kill on that Nexus, but does get the Oracle. And the Corruptors, they rotate around. They get to the Void Ray as well. And another carrier out positioning these Archons. Really good movement out of RagnaroK. At the same time, here comes the Ling army with the Roaches. And RagnaroK is pulling Art apart. Again, he just doesn't have a large enough army to keep up. Oof. As another carrier falls. Now, it looks like there are enough Archons to push away these Roaches, so Art does hold on to his 4th. But not for free. There were some losses on the way. Only 3 carriers are left. The Corruptors, they want them, by the way. Oh! So they do shock you around. Looking for any exposed carriers. Art is slowly saturating that 4th. Meanwhile, RagnaroK doubling down on Ling Roach Ravager. We can see Art is working on Blink on +2. Again, he does want to transition into a ground toss. So far, he is holding on. Overcharge is popped. He is holding on to his 4th. RagnaroK is now maxed. And with his maxed out army, he can try to split apart Art. And here we go. He's going for a massive Caustic Spray on the 3rd base. Art is going for a big all-in. He's ignoring the army. And this could work. The reason why, if we look at the units, we have 18 supply worth of Corruptors here. 18 supply that isn't really going to help against the Archons. Art, he's hoping for a base trade. He's moving out across map. He wants to end the game with this army. The carriers are going to go down, but that doesn't really matter. It's not about the carriers, it's about the mass Archon. Keep pushing, Papi. Keep pushing. Now, what do we have to defend? We have a couple of Roaches, we have Ravagers, we have Lings. Oh, a big snipe on the Prism. No more reinforcements for Art. As he's pushing on through, and does RagnaroK have enough here? Art doesn't have any Immortals. Archons are trading well, but oh, massive bars connect with the Stalkers. Zelts are going down, and RagnaroK, he's pulling the army over towards the 3rd base. He's buying time, buying as much time as possible for reinforcements. We can see that the Roach Ravager is being cleaned up, but there are 14 more Roaches in production. And the Archons are slowly going down, one after the other. Across the map, the Corruptors, they take down the natural base. They take down the Nexus. And again, it's just taking too long for Art to reinforce. taking far too long. Here come the roaches. GG gets called. Oh my. GG gets called. And RagnaroK will take game 1 against Art. GG. Ooh, a really powerful showing there from I say powerful showing. Really good scouting. It all came down to scouting for RagnaroK. He confirmed the initial sky toss. He confirmed the carriers. And then he confirmed that, hold up, actually, you're not really committing to the carriers. You're actually going for a ground toss tech switch instead. And he was able to confirm that. Again, just really good scouting out of RagnaroK, able to take advantage of Art and take advantage of that game. And with that, I believe that is Mystery Gaming securing their spot here, advancing on into the next round. It is up to the teams if they want to play out the final game. If they want to, they can, but it's up to the teams. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they do want to play out game 2, or, Alright, we're going for it. We are going for it. And it's gonna be Art's map of choice. All right. Sorry, I was just messaging the team captains, from my understanding. Just trying to get confirmation of what's going on. And in the end, Mystery Gaming, they will take the series, but Art is still gonna play out his game. He's like, you know what? We're still gonna play this out. It's gonna be my map of choice. I'm gonna have the server advantage. I'm gonna show everyone that I can still take it to RagnaroK. Let's go. Let's go. I love it. As here he is spawning in the top left-hand corner of Grass Farm. We have the Polish Protoss player. He is pink, representing the Platinum Vultures. It is Art. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. Oh. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Mystery Gaming, going for a 12 pool. It is RagnaroK. Here we go. So RagnaroK is going to be looking to be very aggressive here in the early game. Art goes for a probe scout, and he should be looking to dip into the main, hopefully, to just confirm what exactly is going on, as he's going to be checking to... Oh no, it's not just a 12 pool, it's a proxy hatch. Oh no. Art, he checks the triangular third. He's checking... it looks like he's checking the linear third base. He's taking too long. So Art, he's more concerned with checking if there's an expansion, which means his scout into the main is delayed. It's a delayed scout. The drone has arrived, and we have a proxy hatch. The wall is going to be disrupted. The Lings are moving out. Art now is aware of what's going on. Is it too late? Does throw down a forge. Now the forge will help. It will grant access to cannons here for Art. But again, this is just a late reaction, a late scout as to what's going on. Second pylon is thrown down. The first zealot is being chronoed as we speak. And RagnaroK is still just amassing Lings. Just rallying all of his Lings across the map. Here we go. And what do we go for? Okay, it looks like we have some decent surface area on the gateway. We'll be focusing it down. First cannon is in production. I believe the gateway is eventually going to go down. We're also going to try to focus on the pylon as well, but the cannon is going to help hold on. as RagnaroK is expanding behind this. Bear that in mind. I think it's too late to drone though. I think it's just for larva, I'll be honest. Another drone shows up randomly. The gateway is going to fall just before the adept comes out. But the cannon has completed. And that is going to force RagnaroK back, but he throws down a spine crawler. Okay, now we know what the drone was for. Only one spine. A queen is on the way. We have additional cannons in production as well. And a defensive robo. This is a very bold location for the robo. There is no pylon in the main, so he has to go for it. And it looks like he will kill this hatchery before the queen comes out. I love that he pulls back as well to make sure that he doesn't get surrounded by the broodlings. So really cool, calm and collected play from Art. Yeah, he's going to take down all of these things as well. RagnaroK just throwing everything away, and with that, Art is holding. He is holding beautifully. And now RagnaroK is droning. And this is a sad moment to drone. He's down 10 workers. He's gonna be down a base as Art is working on his Nexus. We have a robo, we have tech. Warp Prism is about to finish. Sorry, Warp Gate is about to finish. And RagnaroK is in a lot of trouble. The Spine Crawler is waddling back home. With the completion of this Warp Gate, we can start warping in Adepts. And the first Adept is making its way across the map. Gonna be harassing these units. Zealots are on their way to support as well. RagnaroK looking for a surround! Art, he wasn't looking! He was not looking. The Adept does get surrounded. A good moment for RagnaroK. Again, he's droning heavily back at home. From here, Art can go for a 2-base all-in. Like, he could go for a longer game and slowly take a 3rd base and, you know, establish himself. Prism comes out. Lings do spot it. RagnaroK is going to have to try to defend. How many gateways do we have? We are still only on 1. We're about to be on 2 gates. I'm not too sure what Art can really accomplish. He can warp in 1 unit at a time at the moment. He's going for Robotic Spay. Okay. Colossus. Disruptors. We have access to either one. As Art is getting ready. Sorry, RagnaroK is getting ready in the main base. Link speed is on the way. And Art is looking to cripple the economy here of RagnaroK. Can RagnaroK recover here from being so far behind? That's the real question. Very delayed gases. Delayed 3rd. Depths have arrived. Oh, and they're not going to find any damage here. They do force a bit of lost mining time, but RagnaroK does force this back. And there it is. It's going to be a Disruptor. I imagine a setup for a Disruptor drop. There we go. 2 more gates are thrown down as well. If Art wanted to, he could expand, but these gateways, they tell a different story. Oh, yeah. As he has 2 gates in the natural and 3 on the way in the main. 5 gates in total. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up to 6. Meanwhile, Adepts make their way into the natural base, but the Queens and Spine Crawler were in position, and RagnaroK does defend. Yeah, there we go. 6 gateways for Art. It is a 2-base all-in from our Protoss player. Now, can RagnaroK pull off a miracle defense? Can he pull it off? He's got roaches in production. He has 2 gases being taken. It's gonna be impressive. If RagnaroK can somehow survive this, it's gonna be crazy. Oh my goodness, we have even more gates on the... Oh my Jesus. As additional gateways are on the way. So initially it was 6, now it's going to be 8 gates. So it's a 2-base 8 gate all in with charge. The first Disruptor has arrived. And we need some value here. If we do connect with the roaches or a mineral line, that's going to be ideal. Oh, he wants the roaches. Does get a Ravager. Good split towards the end. RagnaroK minimizing his losses. What's important is that Art keeps the Disruptor alive, and he is reinforcing here with a wave of Zealots. Immortals are on the way. The Yolin is upon us. Looking at the unit tab, okay, we have 2 Immortals. We have 14 Zealots and 1 Disruptor against 43... Oh, that's a lot of Lings. 43 Lings and 4 Roaches. 4 Roaches and soon to be 4 Ravagers. Oh boy. Can RagnaroK piece this all together? Can he somehow hold on here? The Lings are going to be engaging. Biles will connect on the sentries. 1 sentry goes down. Bile goes off. Nova goes off, sorry. Connecting with the Ravagers. It looks like there are just too many Zealots. Yeah, Art is breaking on through. Despite the Prism going down. There may just be too much Protoss, or is there? He's getting on top of the army, but we have Ling reinforcements. They are on the way. They take down the Disruptor. They take down the Immortal. It's going to be too much. RagnaroK is going to hold. Oh my god. GG gets called, and RagnaroK is going to take the series 2-0. GG. Very crucial that he was able to focus down that War Prism, deny any reinforcements. Art was not able to supply his army with more Zealots, despite having 8 gateways, by the way. Could not warp in. And congratulations to RagnaroK for just really cleaning things up here and securing the victory for Mystery Gaming. They had already won with the 4-1, but now they get the 5-1. Doesn't mean anything extra, but regardless, GG. GG, well played. And I believe that is the last series. That is it. Alright, exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket. My condolences to the Platinum Heroes, sorry, to the Platinum Vultures. Again, I have a soft place in my heart for them. I'm a fan of all of those lovely players, and it's difficult for any team to go up against Mystery Gaming. They are a heavy favorite to go all the way into not just Code A, but the main event in Code S. So it was unfortunate seeding here for the Platinum Vultures, and here we go. Just from top to bottom, let's just quickly go over all of the matches. Freak of Freaks, they took down the team of admins. Fun fact, this Chinese team here, these are the admins for WTL. They decided to come together to play. So shout out to Sadotobi, Dole as well. They put in a lot of work. I'm not too familiar with the center player. But they do a lot for the scene. They do a lot for SC Boy and WTL, so much love to the admin team. As we follow them, we do see a Freak of Freaks. They took down Bing Bong Esports. Bing Bong Esports, that's like a amalgamation of a bunch of different players, like from all over the place. It's just a team that came together to allow these players to compete. Armani, Sue, and Stats popping off. The Freaks are another big team. Armani's playing again. Let's go. But the Freaks, they are another big team here that are favorites to make it all the way to Code S. So watch out to all the other teams out there. Good luck, Papi. Good luck. Anticore, wow, did go 1-1 with Sue. Very impressive, very impressive. And Stats took down Azura 2-0. As we go down a little bit further, Kaoda versus 3D Clan went all the way to the ace match. I'm not too familiar with too many of these players. I'm familiar with Astra. Shout out to Astra. Not too much with Jimmy Micro and GG Machine, but did go to the ace match, and yeah, Kaoda was able to make it through. And oh, actually, I thought everyone was done. I think they're still playing with Team Starcom. Okay. Yeah, it looks like Team Snarkom and Kaoda, they're still ongoing here. So yeah, really exciting, really exciting. Ashbringer going 1-1. I think Night Phoenix is facing off against Restart as we speak, so I'm very tempted to maybe slip into that series for another one. Match Arena Esports, they all kill Team So Far Away. So Far Away being an old school Chinese team here with Jim, of course, one of the best players out there. Jim, Misaki, and Dragon. Going down a little bit further, we do see Code A Traveler took down Team Gosu. My condolences to Team Gosu, but it was going to be a tight series. It was always going to be a rough series between them. And as we scroll down a little bit further, we do see Team Roddy making it through. They do. Oh my god, they take down. They almost all killed Slice from Templars here. Really impressive from Euthermal Special and Fiant. Oh my god. Was not expecting it to go that way. So really impressive by Team Roddy as they make it through. Mystery Gaming made it through. Twisted Minds got a walkover. They got a walkover all the way towards the next round. And Little Fairy all kills Maral Esports as well. Do love to see it.